Colorado Redfield.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna get rowdy.
Yeah. All mine are older.
Don't get our hopes up.
Say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty. Let the roll call show Councilwoman Hartkey cannot make it tonight. She called and advised me that she wouldn't be here. But we do have a quorum. Everybody else is present. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
With the following amendments to add a building permit for T-Mobile and a building permit for Earthworks HKA Real Estate.
Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Zant, second by Councilman Dimick, that we amend the agenda to approve 2 building permits. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose the same. Passed all in the affirmative. Any communications from citizens?
No,
None being?
say no.
Consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilman Weaver moved to approve the consent agenda. Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and second, we approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? None being? All in favor, say aye. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. Public hearing. Chris. Please move forward on that.
Ordinance 2022-5-25-0001 as previously read and entered into the record. Third reading.
Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-5-25-001 third reading?
Move we approve the third reading of ordinance 2022-5-25-001 fines and penalties.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Zant, second by Councilman Dimick, that we approve ordinance 2022-5-25-001 as previously presented. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Both the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. B,
Ordinance 2022-11-4-001 third reading as previously read and entered into the record, dealing with invasive and noxious weeds.
can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-11-4-001 weeds third reading?
I'll motion.
Been moved by Councilman Weaver that we approve ordinance. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Zant, we approve ordinance 22-11-4-001 weeds, third reading. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. C,
Ordinance 2022-11-1.1-001. As previously read, entered into the record, fines and penalties.
can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-11-1.1-001 fines and penalties, third reading. Been moved by Councilman Zant. I get a second.
I'll second
Second by Councilman Weaver. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. D,
Ordinance 2022-13-3.1-001. Third reading as previously read and entered in the record, creating a ordinance for operation of motorized travel on sidewalks.
can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2022-13-3.1-001 operation of motorized travel on sidewalks, third reading.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Zant. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Been seconded by Councilman Weaver. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed. Business license. Sarah Wilson, Earthworks.
Received a building license business license application and paid the application fee from Sarah Wilson for Earthworks Incorporated. Based out of River.
Can I have a motion to approve business license for Sarah Williams, Earthworks?
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Demick to approve the business license for Sarah Williams. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Been seconded by Councilman Weaver. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion passed on the affirmative. What's the next two?
T-Mobile. Cordworks.
T-Mobile.
Screen says T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Second. Building license for an alteration of the T-Mobile tower. That did send documentation for what they seen the electrical and the radio antennas throughout the tower. So it's just an alteration, not new or changing in insignificant way. Equipment. Basically an upgrade.
Can I have a motion to approve the building permit for T-Mobile?
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Zant. Can I have a second?
Second.
Been moved, second by Councilman Demick to approve the building permit for T-Mobile for alterations on their tower. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion passed, all in the affirmative. We have another one.
And final building permit is from Dane Hermansky. on behalf of HKA Real Estate for demolition at 111 California Street. Heard on the business license.
Where's that at?
Mary Ann Martinez's corner. A little white house and the trailer next to it.
Mhm.
Then going, next one down is Delays.
Mhm.
Is that easier than saying the address?
Welcome to Shoshoni.
Can I have a motion to approve? Demo license,
I'll make the motion to approve the license. for the
been
demolition.
moved by Councilman Weaver to approve the demolition license on Elm Street for Dane. I'll spell the last name,
Hermansky. for
Hermansky.
Earthworks. Incorporated.
Yeah, Earthworks Incorporated. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Been seconded by Councilman Demick. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passed. New business, I believe is next on the agenda. Is that correct?
Correct.
Bid award demolition. We received 2 bids. We'd solicited 3. Bid appears to be the Bales. Yeah. The Bales Limited or Bales Bales Enterprises for the amount of $16,600. $400, $16,400 and 40. That bid includes, also includes all fees at the landfill and the demo itself. The town would not have to demo it. The other bid was 18,500. Viper Underground, and that only was the transportation, and the town would have been paying the dump fee and demo with town equipment and personnel. This is a little, the bid is a little more than what we had budgeted, but I believe we can cover that. I would suggest we accept the low bid. I'd like to have a motion as such to accept the low bid and move forward on this.
I'll make the motion.
Been moved by Councilman Weaver. We accept the low bid of $16,440 from Bales Enterprises. Can I have a second?
Second the motion.
Been seconded by Councilman Demick that we accept the low bidder. Any discussion? Anybody concerns discussion?
So it is so on his bid, it is understood that he's going to pay the landfill
Yes,
bill 100%, no change orders.
no,
Okay.
it's his bid. If you read it, it says all inclusive. I actually called to make sure that was correct. Because I had concerns that.
Is it
was-
going to the landfill?
Huh?
Is it going to the landfill?
He's gonna segregate it and whatever he takes to landfill, he pays.
It's not, so this is just be your, so it didn't come back to get the town as far as that, so it doesn't end up in a farmer's field buried someplace, or is that not pertinent to us? I mean, as far as just.
To my knowledge, he's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna dispose of it. I don't know if he's gonna do anything different with the bricks or blocks or concrete or,
But I guess it's, but the
It's
town,
no-
but it's out of our hand.
it's out of our hands. And we're not liable,
There's no asbestos or,
no.
Correct.
These were actually inspected when we had that. So we're clear there.
so as the example, it would be a cradle to grave if it was and it got buried someplace, EPA would come back to the
Sure,
generator and say, there's your big fat project, go unbury. And they had something like this happen in Riverton with some diesel contaminated dirt.
mhm,
Contractor took it, dropped it off into the farmer's North 40, right or wrong, they got to go back and pick it all up.
Well, in this case, there's at least asbestos.
There's no asbestos on it, yeah. Well, bless his heart.
I almost said the same thing,
Yeah, bless his heart.
but that's the,
Like I said, so I was, I mean, if that is all, I know the disposal fee will be high. I mean, just based on
correct.
what buildings weigh, and there again,
I was,
none of our bids, I mean,
yeah,
bid what you want to bid on it, but as long as it's not, man, sorry, guys, I thought 50 ton and there's 100 ton, can I ask you for another $5,000?
boy, I thought the disposal fee could be $5,000 easily.
Well, but if you went hook, line and sinker, I mean, 100 ton on the 3 billion, $8,000 just in the fee.
Yes,
That's why I wonder as far as if they're gonna recycle the concrete, great. I mean, that's
well, he
gotta do
might,
something.
right,
Is Viper still taking
Ye- It depends. With taking concrete,
yeah,
as far as what people say it is and what it is. So concrete blocks is fine. Concrete blocks full of insulation and timber,
it?
very different story.
Right.
Rebar mixed in with it. So he's got a little yard in Riverton where he's had some, but that's where he had some issues and stuff got dropped off and it's such a pain.
Mhm.
So some of it just didn't take anymore.
Any more discussion?
So you give a timeline of when he wants to do this.
I didn't get a timeline, no.
Do we have a timeline that matters or just
I hope
June
soon.
30th
next year?
of next year, yeah.
I personally hope soon.
So probably, I mean, I would assume probably a winter project or
Mhm.
Or late fall.
We didn't actually stipulate, but I would.
there's no deadline. I mean,
No, I'd sure hope to have it out of here by next spring at the latest. You know, so I'd like sooner than that, but no later than that.
You won't get paid till it's done, will it?
Probably not.
Okay.
So he's got incentive to come in and get her. And like I said, I don't know why we didn't get the third bid. They actually contacted me today, but they ended up not putting a bid in.
and no response from. Did you put this in the newspaper?
We just did direct. advertising.
Yeah.
Since it's under 35.
Under $35,000. We just reached out to 3 contractors that had showed interest in the past.
I think that's all my questions. Comments.
Okay, any more?
No, I nailed it.
If none being, all in favor, say aye to accept the low bid, $16,440.
I,
Aye.
Aye. All passed, all in affirmative. Department head, clerk report.
Just a quick heads up, next second meeting in October, I'll have the financials for our first fiscal year quarter complete. That'll be my last, most likely, quarterly report, so any critiques on the format, please let me know if you'd like a change before I go forward. biggest thing I wanted to talk about was the library. I know we had talked about, I had brought this up 6 months ago. Mainly when we were talking about conversion to the new town hall and what that would look like with the integration of all the departments within one building. And so at that time, I directed Melissa to start looking into e-libraries and how that could be integrated in Shoshoni and what we could do with that, how that would work. So looking at the cost of the various systems and formats for the library versus what we have available. This Tiny Cat, Melissa can kind of fill in some gaps. Basically, it will allow us to catalog all our books. And so anyone that wants to check out a book that's on range for pickup at whatever time they want to, if it's outside of the hours, they can call town hall and we can make sure they have access to the book without them having to physically go there to look and see what's in stock. They'll be able to look online catalog. They'll also be able to, any book, movie, audiobook, or anything they want that's not currently in the library, they can select and request, and the town would acquire that and then give them permission to utilize it online with an online link. And each one could be shared up to five different people at a time. So that's the only limitation there. But then once those 5 people cycle out, it's still available for down the road whenever anybody wants to use it, up to 5 at a time. The cost is about $400 a year for the cataloging fee and whatnot, which is about 1/5 of the cost of some of the other online catalogs for libraries. And this would probably fit our current library. We have about 10,000 items to catalog. For the price would be probably the best. And with things upcoming, getting this online now, it's not going to close the library, but it's going to ensure that the library has access 24/7 as far as being able to see what's available. And then transitioning to more of the library is not currently open. If someone has a book, they can schedule a time to pick the book up. So we make sure that we open the library for that purpose if it's something on hand. Versus if it's online, we can approve their link and check it out to them. This also catalogs their any late fees, who hasn't checked out, they create an account, they get a library card, and they have full access to their libraries as well. I think that's pretty much the rundown. Melissa's here if you had any further questions to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit.
And Melissa's worked real hard in putting this together. Spent a lot
She's
of time.
done a lot of research trying to find one that would fit with our needs, but one that's not overly expensive, that would facilitate everything that requirements that I said we needed to have. So this is the one that had the biggest bang for the buck.
I'm reading this first line and second last page. In the second paragraph. It says the library will still have to buy ebooks. They range from $0 to $15 depending on the online store. So I want a book, I just go tell Melissa I want this book and she'll order it for me online.
And then we'll have permanently have that book.
So my question is budget. How much is scheduled for this?
Well, we currently have $1,000 plus 500, so 1,500 total in the library's budget. So this isn't requesting at this time to increase the budget, but I believe the frequency of use of the library, if we have, that's 100 books a year that we could add to.
Or 1,500 books, depends on your zero price.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah. Assuming it's all 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could add
Worst
100
case
books
scenario.
100 books a year or 100 movies a year. So it's going to grow the library, but instead of physically growing, it's going to grow the footprint online. We'll still have books in there,
Right.
but this expands it to people that we don't have the book. And since we're not in the library system, this is the closest fit to integrate that aspect plus having the e-library aspect of it integrated in one.
Will other libraries be able to borrow books that we have here?
Melissa?
No, because we're not part of the Fremont.
Melissa, could you please come up and speak at the podium?
Thought she was gonna get away with it.
Yeah, I know, I can see that.
You're welcome.
No, because Fremont County Library System with Lander and all them are combined into one. And since we're not part of that anymore, we used to be where the county funded us and stuff like this. We are town funded, so we are the town.
There you go.
Well, don't run off yet, Melissa.
Okay,
So I assume you're familiar with Libby.
Libby.
That's the Wyoming Virtual Library.
Yes, that costs $4,000 a year.
So is that, do people use, so it's an app
Mhm,
that goes through, I guess, Riverton
mhm.
Library. If you have a Riverton
Yeah.
library card, it's a free service.
Yeah.
As far as I know, my wife uses this.
Yeah,
And then it gives me access to just what you're saying. I
Mhm.
type in, except for if I type in a title that doesn't exist, it just says, sorry, it doesn't exist. There's no option, but it has an integrated wait list.
yeah. Tiny Cat is just like that, but it's designed for smaller libraries. As to where I've already looked at all the other options, what Fremont County and the other counties in Wyoming are associated with that, it costs them $4,000 a year for that. And that's for bigger libraries. As to where we're a smaller library, and that's what I was looking at, and Tiny Cat was the best price.
So this would be something
For it, you just download it and
for
for
Tiny
Tiny Cat, yeah, there is.
How hard would it be for you to transfer your data right now that you have on your computer into Tiny Cat?
Actually pretty easy. The web pages is going to be the tricky part because they design your web page and everything like that. All you do is, it's called Marks. You download the file from, like right now we're at Resource Mate. You download your Marks and then you download it onto Tiny Cat and it transfers everything. Yeah, so it's pretty easy.
About an hour or so.
Yeah, so we get a free month next month at Tiny Cat. If I decide I don't like it, well, we're gonna have to like it because it's the only one out there for a small library, so. But we get a free month next month, so.
Is the world, I guess this would be, is the world shifting at all? Just, I don't read much anyway, but I'm not interested in
I was gonna
reading
ask,
on my phone.
how much do you read?
Actually,
I listen to lots of books, but I don't physically read.
actually, a lot of the world is going towards that. I mean, your college books, everything's
But
online.
how about Shoshoni?
The numbers have been going down. I think that's including the cribbage players. Cribbage players make up most of the count for the library. So about 27 total, I think, this month.
And that's checking out books or just coming?
No,
to visit?
that's just coming in. Checking out books, maybe 5.
So it's a dying,
Yeah, it's a dying.
it's a
thing.
dying asset in our community. I mean,
Yeah, that's why I said go digital, and everybody, because my daughter sits there and reads on her tablet. That's all she does. Is buy books on her tablet, checks out books on her tablet. That's all she does.
That's what my wife does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's read like 115 books in a year.
I like
She's
rules
Yeah.
just telling me it's
myself.
holy cow.
I need to turn a page.
You just swipe.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will allow greater usage of the library, even though it's not necessarily in person. Obviously, we have the computers in there. It's school time now, so not kids have sports and stuff like that, so it's not as much using on that as well. But the hope is that this would, without an extra cost, be able to expand the usefulness of having a library and continue still having a physical library at the same time. So kind of having your cake and eat it too.
Does it track the data as far as you're able to see how many
Yeah, what it,
checked out versus didn't?
yeah, it tracks the data. It sends a monthly report. See, a person will come in, say they want to register, and I'll set them up a password and everything. And when they log in, it'll show how many times they log in. So at the end of the month, you can set it up monthly, weekly, whatever, how many people are on that circulating and stuff like that, what they're checking out. I mean, it gives a full report to the librarian, and all it does is send an email. So.
Do you think you'd have any issues with the requests of books as far as someone says, I want this book, this book, this book, and I choose not to read it, or, I mean, as far as running out of budget money as far as.
Yeah, people can make suggestions of what books they want.
So you would
and
ultimately screen. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you would have.
we
to.
will have to screen what the one and whatever is most popular, most requested. I'll get that book for them. Go on, and the children's book, go on it and get it, stuff like that. Amazon, wherever we want to pick up the book, the cheapest.
How do you screen? Well, I use this word vaguely,
Mhm.
questionable material. I mean, so he says, I want to, how to build a wall.
Well, I'll do my research and see what the book's about before I buy it.
50 Shades of Grey or something.
We already have that in the library.
Oh, okay.
That's already there.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
You should take that one home and read it.
Yeah, you should go check that one out.
Very interesting, Joel.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sure, it's used quite a bit. Super sorry.
So that's quite, questionable, books that for some people, they say, I object to this book because of whatever,
Mhm.
but you can say it's personal, they checked it out. It's not a public for your students to read or whatever.
Yeah,
That's an issue in some schools.
yeah, the books will have ratings on them. And the adult have, and they'll have the kids' ages and stuff on there if they're a family account. And it'll have a rating on the movies, just like the movies and rating. And if that kid's below the age, it gets nixed out.
So do you have to approve? So if I want to check
Yes.
out a book and say, I want this ebook that's available.
Yes,
Now, when you have to order, it's already there. I want to check this out. But before I actually have access, you have to.
approve it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is, if you look at it, similar. We control now what books we buy and we have in the library now already. So if someone comes in, now they can used to be able to request getting from another library, but it's been approved somewhere down the line with what Melissa is suggesting that would still be doing, would still be controlling the content of what our library provides to the public. And we do that anyway, right now, anyway, with read books, what we buy, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's still, to me, not censoring or it's still what we do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey is the worst book we have in there. So you're
Good to know.
Oh, okay, I never even heard of the book. so
Yeah. You want educated? Yeah.
Probably don't need to. Probably don't need that one.
What hurts the library with the kids so much, because the school has an online library,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but I think it'll help maybe for the town people that like to read,
Well,
might get more people.
And there are a few Kindles in there and I can, since I don't use my Kindle anymore, I can donate it because I don't use it anymore.
And that was going to be my next statement is looking at getting some devices that people can check out. They don't have access to one at home. We can check them out, a Kindle or a tablet of some sort to be able to read and then return it.
Okay, Kindle some sort of tablet then.
Yes.
It is. It's mainly
A
just a
little
reader
computer.
tablet. It's a tablet, but it's mainly meant strictly for reading.
Okay,
And the Mushroom Farm has offered to donate some stuff to the library, but I was not unaware of what we needed because we have tons of books. So, but there is that option. I don't know if they still want to donate. So,
they talked about donating tablets.
Yeah.
That they did.
So that would be the next evolution to ensure people could have access.
Right.
It's great if they have a computer, but if you're 75 years old, never touched a computer in your life, you're like, oh, I gotta read this thing. So it's.
It's kind of funny when I seen them like change pages or things, I don't know. But it's, one thing we'll keep in mind too, we're still gonna have, once we get into the new building, we're still gonna offer computer like we have now. For people can get in and get on the computer and have Wi-Fi access. That's still, people still do that. Some of them just park outside the building and do it.
yes, they
They
do.
don't even come in.
Well, we don't count those. I know.
Yeah.
I get the bill, which we don't pay extra for, but I see how much data is being used. It's-
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if people across the street are using it. So for their home Wi-Fi.
Why not? It's there. It's free. Why
I hope they're
not?
not listening,
Yeah. I don't know.
but it is always open. So.
Yeah.
I have had an attorney come in and take a conference call right there, and so I had to lock myself in my office so I wouldn't hear the call.
Any more questions for Melissa? Appreciate all your research and dedication, time putting into trying to look for solutions, options for us.
And if you guys want to buy any books from the 1800s, let me know because I got a ton of them.
Or Melissa, were we asking tonight to move forward on this? We wait until a little later? What are we doing?
Well, I just wanted to put the information
Out
out
there
there
and
and
then-
just kind of get some input, see if,
Because you can do your free trial
Mhm,
at your
next month.
leisure.
so it's not really a budgetary thing, it's just more.
It's
of,
free,
is
not
this
until
something-
November.
This is what we've been working on. I just want
So try it.
Before
and
we
you
do
come
it, say, hey, we
back
did it. I
with your
want it.
recommendation.
Yeah.
everybody to be aware.
Okay,
Well, and I could see if I can get a couple volunteers to see if they can like it or not. Look on there. I'll talk to a couple patrons. See if they want to.
Advertising, how are you going to present this to the public or say, hey, I have this new thing in the library?
I'm gonna put it out on Facebook and for the library's Facebook and the town's Facebook, letting everybody know. I'm also gonna do mailers and send, hey, this is what's going on with the library. That's my next step is to type up a thing, telling people when I get everything downloaded, get our page designed and get it all ordered, then I'll send out to everybody in town and saying, hey, if you guys want, log on to this, come join, register.
might be a good
Yeah.
addition to the mayor's letter.
Yeah. we
I
can
think
do
that would be
too.
the easiest as far as paragraph of what you're saying right
Yeah.
there into it, save you a lot of time.
Um, My mind just jumped to YouTube. Any way you can put it on?
There
YouTube?
is, yes,
Because we do YouTube for town council meetings.
Mhm.
Is there any way you can have an example of that on YouTube?
actually, Tiny Cat video on YouTube.
Okay.
That's how I watched it and came across it. I watched it and how they were doing it and stuff like that. It's really informal. There's a lot of videos on it.
good.
I'm glad I thought of that.
Good idea, Joe.
Oh, that is a good idea. No,
So that's what I'll ask my questions.
Okay.
And also, 28th,
The dates are wrong. My calendar is screwed up, so it's,
or the 28th and 29th of October. Will be a,
the 30th, 29th, and 28th.
will be a kids haunted house in concert with the typical haunted house at the senior center. That's a little bit more age appropriate for kids to go to the library, so we'll have that again this year as well. And I know Melissa made some flyers that will be probably get passed out with the mayor's letter as well, just informing everybody, so their kids can, little kids can go to the library and the adults can go to the senior center and have fun. That's all I got.
move on. Bo, do you have anything you would like to report to the citizen? Mike, how about you? Bob?
I'd like to thank Chris for getting the burn days set up. I saw that on someplace, October 1st, for burn day start. Is that correct?
Hopefully.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. So that's good to have. I have people ask me about it.
Yeah. Mike had reached out and done that.
This month.
No,
No, Fletch.
Okay,
yeah,
Good.
towns are,
okay.
yeah. our-
I'm glad that people
One of
have
our
asked
water
about it.
operators.
I see the trees in the Plaza Park are decreasing. We used to have a guarantee. How is that a warranty? Is that expired or what?
That's worth looking into.
It was an interesting warranty. So on that, I have got with Mike, and our plan is there's a I believe it's in Lander, and they have some mature trees.
What type?
Uh,
Because pines just do not
No,
like
it's not pine. It's,
the soil.
like I say maple, it's
Maple work,
it's like
honey
maple.
locust, some oaks.
And yeah, they're familiar with our soil and what can grow here. And they had trees that would be
Robusta?
robust here. And they're mature, and they're about $300 to $400 a tree. But that would replace some of the dead trees there that would definitely take to the soil and grow.
Well, the other part, I've seen the animals start to rub their horns again on some of them.
No way.
Well, it's hunting season coming up. So,
They know where to hide.
What about aspens, quickies?
They should grow. I have some growing in my yard. They have grown in the past. They're hard to get started.
I've got the ones in my front yard and I planted them and they were like 5 feet tall and now they're taller than my roof.
Yeah.
And
They-
stump on
yeah.
it like this.
Once they get started,
Yep.
they take off.
yeah, it looks like as far as those evergreens, I believe 5 of those will stay. The other 3 are probably gonna get burned. But the 5, if you look at it, they grew probably 2 feet.
Yeah.
So those ones definitely took.
And they're hard. Yeah, they still may need some more acid around it, but
And we'll have that another injection for those trees for winterization that should seal that in.
good.
But the other ones we probably won't do, like you said, because they just aren't taking. And then the one large tree that we transplanted, that one just never took. And so our plan is to remove that tree and put in a 10+ foot mature tree in there. So there's some shade there. And hopefully
Right.
it'll stand up against any antelope or
Good one.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever else comes around. We could put some fencing around it so it gets a little bit more if we needed to, which might be a good idea. That other tree, I'm not sure if it's worth pruning it and letting it continue because it's still alive, but only half of it. So I'm not sure if it's worth pruning it or just replacing it. But it's a good sized tree. It's just the branches died off. So that's the plan here in the fall.
I know that the guy in going to transplant, Rick out of Pavilion, he has robustas. And he will start anytime now. Once leaves start to fall, that's when he gets into the planting again. Previously, they were $400 for roughly a 12-year tree. Hook, line, and sinker delivered. Last I heard, he was up to about 500 when fuel was going crazy. But as it compares for your own self, it might be apples to apples, or anyway. Just the last I knew, he had the robustas. That's what he recommends: the robustas and cottonwoods.
And so I'll probably have that part of my public works report on the next council meeting. We'll probably have kind of like our plan, looking at our budget, what we can do, what the cost is going to be. We do have, capital funds that we can use for detour for parks. We didn't really budget a lot of money for that in parks, but depending on what the tree comes up, we're looking at least 3 to 4 trees to replace. And I think that now getting the mature ones there will definitely bring a lot more visual appeal to the park, having those live trees. Mature tree, which
Better success rate.
Yeah, so. But the evergreens were a good idea, but
They just don't like the soil. An animal love them.
I think they pretty much the whole thing at one. It looks like a Charlie Brown tree.
That's it. They just rub those horns and just. The other thing I have is I went to a community gas meeting and talked about prices of natural gas. Right now, 37% of all electricity is produced by natural gas, which means it is going to continue to go up. 2 years ago, a firm was about 35, 37 cents. On the open market today is 84.5. Yeah, last year, there was a whole bunch of complaints about the sign-up period for the upcoming in April. It's going to be for 3 weeks only, no pre-signing. So you get your paper, you sign up, and that's it. You can't pre-sign up in February, so you won't be getting all that information,
Right.
phone calls and all that other stuff in February and March. So it's 3 weeks in April, that's it. What else they talked about?
So should we put out like some kind of informative in March? That's coming up to get people.
Yeah,
on
there's,
board.
there's, Wyoming Community Gas said they'll be sending out information as well. And I think we can put it in our town letter and say, this is what's going on.
Right.
They also have a grant that we could look at. It's only $5,000. It's usually split in half, but what we use that, it's above and beyond the money they give us.
Mhm.
Okay, so trees, how can we use that money for trees or something else in the community?
Sure.
How would benefit, if you had somebody else going with it. So could we use this money for the streetlight project? So we look at all, more than one way we can look at adding. So they said the more entities going for that grant, the higher chances you have.
Is Natalie Flood, is that? who?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get with her.
And she said they're sending all this information out to all municipalities and districts, for everything from cemetery districts to fire districts, anything. So off with that grant.
Yeah, I mean, with the, we have a town match, if we can use that for our streetlights,
Right.
that would,
$2,500 to pay one pole maybe, or one light, whatever.
yeah, I have 9%.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
So that's, it's the backside, if I have any notes there. Storage is down for the year. It's 11% down for last 5-year average. Projected fourth quarter price will be about 90 cents or more.
And just for context, I locked this in for the town a couple months ago at 81.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to go up. They figure it's going to be 90 cents for fourth quarter at least, not more. They're opening up a port in Texas that has been closed since last November for repairs. And that ports at 17% of US natural gas out. And it will go to Europe.
Tomorrow is gonna go now.
So that's all I have.
We have natural gas over there.
Might have a little bit near us.
Yeah.
If we can get where they'll let us drill for it. Touch bases, public works update, we're gaining on it. We have the 2 contract water operators that have reported in the past from Riverton that are helping us out. Kim Parker got back from vacation and we're working on getting our employees signed up for classes and where they can study and start working towards a test. We've secured a wastewater lagoon technician from the town of DuBois. He is also coming down and helping out Hudson on their lagoon. He came today, inspected our lagoon and has a few suggestions, but he's gonna be on board. So we need to get one more back because we're required to have 2. But Kim Parker with the DQ is working with us on that. She said she got back from vacation. She's pretty happy that we're moving forward. We're trying to do what we can do and understand. She's understanding that the difficulty is to find these trained people, especially in the lagoon side of things. But so we're moving forward on that. I believe Mike and Bart are doing a real good job. They're learning the system, learning what they're doing. I think that's pretty positive. I think we have 4 more applications. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes, for total.
4 total.
We got 4 for that, Public Works Director, and then we got 1 for just the maintenance water position.
Okay. So I think we haven't found that unicorn that's got all the permits we're looking for that wants to come live here and work here for what we can afford to pay him. I would suggest that we start setting up interviews on who we have and start moving, trying to move forward on that, filling that position. So ask him, what's your pleasure?
For Mike and Bart, are they currently temporary?
No, oh, well,
Mike's full-time, Bart is temporary.
right.
With the intent to hire on full-time or
What with Bart? Right now, it's, the plan was to keep Bart as temporary. We got room for one more full-time position. Guess there'd be nothing prevent Bart from applying for that position. But we need, like I said, the unicorn hadn't showed up. We were hoping to, but we need one more full-time person. We need someone, we're gonna end up, looks like whoever we end up will need training to be Director of Public Works. He won't be certified, but look at all the applicants we got and try to make the best decision, what's right, best for the town and who we choose to fill that position. Which our current employees, of course, are encouraged and welcome to apply.
best of luck?
Yep. So, but anyway, I mean, I think we have good, I think Bart and Mike are doing well. I think we got some pretty good applicants that's applied that have potentially could do well also. It's just to go through we'll have to sort through the process. But I'm just thinking we should probably go ahead and start this with hopefully maybe by the end of October or sooner to have someone hired. And as soon as we can get them hired and get them started in the training, the faster we can move forward with that. And it's just, that's my recommendation, that we start the process. It makes sense to everybody else.
I agree.
Sure. I'll try to work something out if we got, for Director of Public Works, if how we want to set up the interviews. I'll work with the council on that. See what we can come up with. Okay. Sound good? That's what I'll move forward on. The other thing I want to talk on, our tax appeal update, we lost. It's I don't know. See, we appealed to the county commissioners, the county is trying to tax us, and they agreed to keep taxing us.
On the clinic?
Yes, on the clinic. It was a 3-2 vote I want to bring up. So we had 2 of the county commissioners looked at the information and thought, yeah, Shoshoni's right. Why are we taxing them? But we had 3 of them that decided that, yeah, we want that money. We're going to tax Shoshoni. I don't know what it's fairly obvious to me that I thought we won the case. Marshall presented a great argument, referred to a Wyoming Supreme Court case. You might want to touch on that a little, Marshall.
Yeah, so, matter of fact, it was Mike Messenger a while back. They had a case with they had the wax museum. County was trying to tax the town for the wax museum there. based on-
Thermopolis.
Oh,
Yep, the town of Thermopolis based on the revenue generated by the wax museum. So Ohio Supreme Court said, well, it falls under the government, governmental purpose use. You can't tax the wax museum. They used that case. As well as they also kind of alluded to the fact that it's not the assessor's job to determine whether or not a nonprofit is a profitable company or not. It's a nonprofit. It's not a or the county council, obviously. So reading the statutes going forward, and it'll be up to the council here if you want me to appeal, but until we get, right now, it's just there was a vote, but they haven't issued their findings of fact. And with that, that'll be a final order that we can appeal to the state.
so does the town pay the tax because we own the building versus Hot Springs, which is for profit?
No, they're not for profit.
They're a government entity.
Hot Springs,
Health, yes, they're owned by the county.
Medical district.
Yeah, that's a Hot Springs County. It's a hospital district.
why do they do this?
And Gotchi's also a nonprofit also. We got two nonprofits. Then we charge zero rent. We spend city taxpayers' money on paying the majority of the utility bills there.
Yeah, not only that, the assessor has given the towns and the county, or the towns that have the ambulance service, was that Frontier Ambulance, which is a for-profit company. No, they don't have to pay property tax on their buildings for Frontier, which is a for-profit company,
And they get taxpayer money.
and they get taxpayer money, but but the assessor and for whatever reason,
So how does Hot Springs make money?
Hot Springs County,
The group, the clinic, or the medical district.
I don't know, I'm not a business person.
I mean, when they come here, it's not free.
I'm sure it's not free.
I was there a couple of times. It was not cheap as far
No,
as.
yeah, they still charge and run as a business, but they don't do it strictly for profit. So they're able to make, since they're a government entity, they're able to, they charge their fees for their administrative costs, their expansion, building, all that, but it's not for profit per se, like your business would be for profit. That's the distinguishing difference between the two, but they still charge fees. They still
Reinvest money back in.
Yeah. into
They don't give dividends.
They don't pay dividends to stockholders, don't have any. stock.
That's probably the easiest way. Yeah.
So in essence, everybody's would be a salary base. This is what everybody gets paid. Any money left over just
Supposed to roll back.
rolls back in.
And they have a board of trustees that, just like the governing body here, that oversees their operations.
Why'd they come to Shoshoni? In Riverton?
Inducements.
Inducements?
Well, just because you're a nonprofit, you still, like anything, you stay the status quo over time, you degrade and fade away. So you have to have new ways to generate business into your nonprofit to direct people into it.
I know people from Riverton who come over here for their medical services.
I'm not well versed in nonprofit. That's a whole different world.
Oh, I don't know, maybe you can rebrand Hopper Disposal as a nonprofit.
Ugh. Mm,
Paperwork.
mm.
They,
Yeah, in Hot Springs County, health is a little more than just a nonprofit. It's actually a hospital district. The government
They can
has
tax.
voted to have that. There's tax money.
So they are funded. So that's what I wondered as far as if they do an operation or sort of have other people can't pay here. They get sent to collections. or does the government pick up the bill?
Well, yeah, so it depends,
both.
right? They're supposed to do sort of a certain amount as write-offs, I believe by statute, whatever, however it works, then so much, you know, they send to collections and try to collect depending on what they.
And without getting too far in the weeds, when you go into the ER, they'll come around and give you the information that you can afford to pay your bill because you don't have insurance. You contact this entity advocate with the hospital and they'll walk you through it and you reduce your bill down to what you can afford, things like that.
You should have, when we just drop a helicopter on the highway.
Yeah.
Well, the helicopter's like a for-profit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Company.
I mean, just the cost of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people could be somewhat coherent. You say, this is gonna, realize this flight's gonna be X thousands
Right.
times 50.
But anyways, I guess the big argument I made versus like the wax museum where they were actually generating a profit. You know, they were charging, the town was. Town of Shoshoni doesn't charge anything. There is no profit generated by the town specifically.
We're just providing a service, medical service to our citizens.
And as well as hospitals. Statute. It's being provided for. Like, you know, there are certain rules. This actually qualifies as a hospital and probably should be taxed.
So is that all that we are taxing? It's just a property.
No, we pay a lot.
Property building.
So unless, so like.
Currently,
town
they're
hall-
commercial property.
So like town hall is not taxed because it's, the police department's not taxed, the library's not taxed. But the property that we acquire throughout the town that's just vacant property, we get charged tax on that because it's not being utilized for whatever. So that has a designation of the tax code that we pay taxes on. Anybody else would pay as well.
You
Obviously.
park the ambulance over there.
Put a little overhang over there. Call me with
Would
one.
that change the,
The county?
I mean, as
Well,
far as calling it something different? This is where we store our ambulance.
well, according to, I guess, her assessment, if we had a medical district here, which we could do, then it would not be taxable. But we don't currently have one, so.
Well, you know, like you say that on the ambulance, and that would be something to bring up next year maybe if you wanted to, but I have a feeling that the way I read things politically, I don't think they care.
But I guess that's, I can see if they wouldn't.
Yeah.
If the attitude is we want the money, we're just gonna fight because we want the money versus we want to help. The attitude is,
No, I think the attitude from the councilmen that were sitting there, it's Shoshoni and we don't care. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, you know. so
That's
it's
the
attorney,
opinion
but
I
that's
got.
That's just my reading of the room when I was sitting.
We got the same reading when we approached him on trying to get an ambulance here at Shoshone from the county commissioners, not all of them, but some of the county commissioners. We got that attitude that they really didn't give a crap.
Yeah, the way I read it was you had two councilmen that just didn't care because it's Shoshoni. One that's really sat on the fence and I wasn't sure about when I was reading it, and then two that obviously bought into my argument.
Right. Yeah. County Commissioner Jones and County Commissioner, Clarence Thomas voted in our for Shoshone. The other, I'd like to point out County Commissioner Larry Allen, who is our district representative, voted against Shoshone's interest. Yeah, Fremont County is the only county in the state where the county commissioners are not at large, but they have districts. So, and the reason being that way the reservation can have a representative. So it's not watered down. That's federal law. And Wyoming or Fremont County took it to court and lost over that. But anyway, Clarence Thomas, who's the reservation representative, and Mike Jones voted for us from Lander. Larry Allen, who is a big district from all the way to Lost Cabin to Du Bois, he he voted against the best interest of Shoshone. And obviously, if we didn't deserve it, it would be a different story, but the case, two of them believed that we're honest and open-minded. That was obviously that we didn't owe the tax, and I truly believe we do not.
So if they have a change in commissioners coming this next year, if it seemed favorable to appeal, is that when you would do it? When there was new?
Well, there's a timeline when you have to, once they issue their findings of fact. So
Sir?
I would only have 30 days to file my appeal within that period of time.
If we would appeal to the state, but there again, do you know who makes up the board of equality with the state for sure?
And then after that, if they go against it, then it would go to the, like I said, the board of equality is appointed.
Right.
Appointed representatives. I can't remember the chairman. So I
Okay.
was just reading that today. But anyways, then after that, then it goes to the district court.
And at least if it gets into district court, then we have somebody looking at the law and correct me, and not just political.
Right, and I think the people on the board of equalization, I would hope they would. too.
Right.
I mean, it seemed like the hearing officer, I thought, the way he was asking questions, believed,
Correct.
he reiterated a lot of the questions I was asking, to get it on the record, probably a little better than what I was asking, so. And he was from the board of equalization.
Right. His response gave us a little hope because.
Yeah.
But he was not a voting member.
No, he
No,
wasn't a
he's not
voting
a
member.
member. He's just a hearing officer. He's the one, his
Right.
job is to make sure that the hearing is conducted in a certain manner. And act impartial.
The marshal keep us appraised of what's going on and try to look at a cost of our next step.
And, as Chris pointed out, this other thing you can look at is doing your own hospital district and getting someone else to manage the clinic.
Seems a rough go.
Up to the voters.
I mean, as far as managed, that means Hot Springs would leave.
Not necessarily.
You just ask Hot Springs if you can annex this into your district.
So
That's
basically, district would be up to the voters, but in the end, it would be a tax base that it would have its own funding separate from the town. And it would operate.
And the county would have to fund it at that point.
The county would, well, I mean, in a way, yeah. It would take away from their. Little options, but
That's interesting.
possibilities.
Anyway, it's Marshall will keep us informed. Food to think, but yeah, I was pretty disappointed in our district county commissioners. And the others. I mean, it's obvious. To me, I guess that's else. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
We know is anything gonna happen on the sewer expansion this year at this point?
I don't believe it's last talk with Imberg Miller, they were still waiting. The part of what they were waiting for, because there needs to be a lift station on the property for Wyoming mushrooms. They need easements to do that. We presented that 3 weeks ago. Their architect was supposed to get in touch. They still have not gave us the okay. That was part of the holdup. Because if we explained to them if they wanted to pursue the rush on thing would be if they're moving forward where we need to have production done, because that was the main reason for the line. And, but if they're not gonna construct till spring, they can be doing their construction the same time we're doing the sewer line. And the engineer estimate we can save, they think we'll save substantial amount of money doing it in the spring versus now. But so we kicked up, but if they said jump, we were ready to put it out and jump. Maybe there's some, but we've explained the urgency. We're waiting on them. And, but we're not getting orders from their office to move forward. So best, I think now best we'll put it out. I don't know what time frame, the first of the year or after a little bit or something, put out, hope start in the spring type thing. Like, I think it's where we're at now. We've kind of got to that point. Any other questions? Now can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Damon to adjourn. Can I have a second? Second, Councilman Zant. Any further discussion? None being all in favor to adjourn this meeting, say aye.
I
Aye, opposed the same, motion passed. Meeting adjourned at what, 8:13?